Hey guys, so I've been playing Madison VR on PSVR2 for the last couple of days, and now that I'm over 50% done with the game, I feel like I'm ready to give my first impressions. It is important that I tell you that I have not played the flat version of this game, as I don't play flat games, and so I came into this game with no real expectations beyond it being scary. Before I start, I just want to remind you guys to like and subscribe. It really means a lot to me, and it lets me know that you want more content like this, as I'm still trying to figure out what videos work and which ones don't. Alright, moving on. In Madison VR, you start locked in a bedroom with your father yelling some pretty crazy stuff at you through a locked door. It seems you live in a house where a woman named Madison Hale allegedly killed her parents in some sort of witchcraft ritual, and now your dad is going crazy. I haven't uncovered the full story yet, but early in the game you get an old-fashioned instant camera that seems to have some bizarre powers, and I don't want to give away much more than that. Touted as the scariest game in VR, I expected this game to have a lot of jump scares and dangerous situations, and so far that has been halfway true. There are jump scares, but I have rarely had situations where I had a fear of dying in the game. A few times I did kind of die. It didn't reset my progress, but it did return me to a prior location than the actual spot where I fell, and there has been one area specifically so far where dying has actually hindered my progress in the game. That said, I feel like I've only begun to get into the real story of the game, which is why I've taken so long to make this video. If you are a horror fan like me, you probably want to buy this game, but it is far from perfect. It employs Half-Life Alyx style force fling physics sometimes, but sometimes it doesn't work and you have to release the buttons and try again in order to pick the item up. Sometimes you have to lean over and physically pick up the item for whatever reason as well, which makes the mechanics feel clunky and immersion breaking. Grabbing knobs to open doors or trying to grab a drawer that is under another drawer to open it is sometimes kind of buggy and awkward as well. Keys are very annoying as you basically have to rotate your wrist almost 360 degrees to get the lock to open, which doesn't feel natural at all, and often you have to let go of the key and grab it again, at which point it will usually snap to some random position and the whole process just kind of feels bad. These are minor complaints, however. The story seems good, the graphics are great, some of the jump scares are top notch, and there are areas that genuinely feel tense and uncomfortable. That said, it is a puzzle game and I'm not huge on puzzle games. I don't mind puzzles in my game, but this game is, at least so far, nothing but puzzles. Snapping photos of random stuff is how you solve a lot of the puzzles, and that's kind of annoying at first until you realize just how much of the game is snapping photos of things. Now I just snap photos of just about everything, as it saves me missing some random thing and then running around the house aimlessly for hours trying to see if any of the unsolved puzzles can be solved by the scribblings on a wall somewhere or a new article, etc. At least one time I had to wait for just the right time and a pattern to snap a picture, and there was really nothing to indicate that you had to snap a picture there. If you're a puzzle game player who likes horror, this might be perfect for you, but for me it was too much tedium of me running around completely lost, trying seemingly nonsensical things because I didn't think to snap a picture when I first walked in the room. Most things in this game can't really be interacted with in VR, but most things you do in VR have some degree of interaction. For instance, to open your storage safe, you need a key, and that key has to be inserted and turned, but the handle on the safe door is opened by just pressing the R2 button, which is just weird and inconsistent. The game feels like a flat game that has been converted to VR. That's definitely not a deal breaker for me, but I just feel like it's worth pointing out. Details like water splashing when you put your hand in it, for instance, just isn't there. The immersion of being in the room, however, as opposed to watching it on a monitor or TV, definitely adds a lot to this game, and I feel like there will be some people who just can't handle it. I personally didn't find it to be the scariest game in VR, at least not yet, but it has gotten me on a couple occasions with jump scares. I would say this is a good game and fully worth the $35 price tag. I fear it might have been a bit overhyped though, and some people might be a little disappointed with the slight clunkiness of the game mechanics, or if they came in unaware that it's a puzzle game. I hope if you know this stuff in advance that you will be less disappointed by it, and hopefully enjoy the game more, because I do feel like it's a good game underneath its small flaws, and horror fans will want this title in their VR library. As far as replayability, there are collectibles, and if you're going for the Platinum Trophy or 100% completion, you'll probably need to run through the game more than once. However, I feel like once you know the puzzles in a game like this, replays are kind of silly and redundant. That, along with the fact that the collectibles don't actually unlock anything, means I would say it's pretty low on replay value. The game length is going to vary dramatically from person to person. I get frustrated with puzzles and take breaks frequently. If you pick up on the cues that I didn't catch, you might be able to get through the game much faster than me, and I feel like most people will fall in the 7 to 9 hour range, as I'm at 4 hours and I'm just over 50% done with the story. I try to stay away from number ratings, but I'm just going to go ahead and give this game an 8 out of 10, showing that sometimes I can be a little inconsistent too. I just feel like it expresses that this is a solid game, but also not perfect. If you are playing this game already, let me know what you think of it in the comments. If you haven't tried it yet, let me know if it's something you plan on getting. Thank you for watching, and game on.